Psalm 32. This is actually one of those that we read. We read a couple of these as we read through the David story. This is one that is believed to be associated with the story of him and the sin with Bathsheba and the murder of Uriah. It doesn't actually say that here. There's a psalm later on, I believe it's number 51, that makes that point explicit. This one does not, but covers the same subject matter. So we actually have read this one before, but here we go. Psalm 32 of David, a maskil, another one of those weird Hebrew musical terms from 3,000 years ago. Blessed is he whose transgressions are forgiven, whose sins are covered. Blessed is the man whose sin the Lord does not count against him, and in whose spirit is no deceit. He's talking about himself here. Yeah, it's true for anybody. I mean, this is a statement that could be true for anybody. But you're especially saying this when you're referring to your own sin that's been forgiven. And we know this because of what he says next. When I kept silent, my bones wasted away through my groaning all day long. For day and night your hand was heavy upon me. My strength was sapped as in the heat of summer. Selah. So even though he was keeping quiet and he was trying to hide it, he was trying to get away with it, not say anything, but the guilt that he felt for having done it sapped his strength. He knew that God had seen, he knew that God had disapproved, and God's hand was heavy on him. Then I acknowledged my sin to you, and did not cover up my iniquity. I said, I will confess my transgressions to the Lord, and you forgave the guilt of my sin. Selah. Therefore, let everyone who is godly pray to you while you may be found, because there is a day when he won't be found anymore. If you wait too long, you'll be waiting too long. If you don't come to him eventually, you're going to run out of chances. And you never know how many chances you're going to get. You never know how many days he's going to give you. I've mentioned this before several times. I'll say it again. In the Old Testament, we had those kings who came and went. Most of them were evil. Some of them were good. And God gave them different lengths of time to turn and repent to him. The most wicked king of all was Manasseh. He got 55 years. He did eventually turn to God and repent near the end. His son Amon only got 2 years as a king. Now he was not 2 years old when he died. He had been old, he had become king at some age, I forget exactly, but he only was Manasseh, however old he was when he actually died, he was king for 55 years. Amon, however old he was when he died, was only king for 2 years. He only got 2 years of a kingship, whereas his father, the most wicked king of all, got 55 years. You don't know if you're going to get 55 years or 2, or any other length of time. As long as you have a day, as long as you have today, you have a chance to pray and be heard by God, or find him. But there will come a time when you cannot do that anymore. There will come a time when if you look for him, you won't be able to find him. Therefore, let everyone who is godly pray to you while you may be found. Surely when the mighty waters rise, they will not reach him, the godly, everyone who is godly. You are my hiding place. You'll protect me from trouble and surround me with songs of deliverance. Selah. I will instruct you and teach you in the way you should go. I will counsel you and watch over you. So I'm guessing he is going to take the lessons that he learned from being forgiven by God and speak them to others now. Do not be like the horse or the mule, which have no understanding, but must be controlled by bit and bridle, or they will not come to you. Many are the woes of the wicked, but the Lord's unfailing love surrounds the man who trusts in him. Rejoice in the Lord and be glad, you righteous. Sing, all you who are upright in heart. Psalm 33. Sing joyfully to the Lord, you righteous. It is fitting there is no title or inscription to this psalm, by the way. We will see that more often later on. A lot of the Psalms in the later part of the book of Psalms do not have titles or inscriptions. It's kind of rare to see one here this early in the first couple of books of the Psalms that doesn't have one, but here is one. Psalm 33. Sing joyfully to the Lord, you righteous. It is fitting for the upright to praise him. Praise the Lord with the harp. Make music to him on the 10-stringed lyre. Sing to him a new song. Play skillfully and shout for joy. For the word of the Lord is right and true. He is faithful in all he does. The Lord loves righteousness and justice. The earth is full of his unfailing love. By the word of the Lord were the heavens made, their starry hosts by the breath of his mouth. He gathers the waters of the sea into jars. He puts the deep into storehouses. So we see these giant seas as these endless oceans of vast amounts of water, and to him they're just something he puts in his jars. I've got 4 bottles of water in my refrigerator. I every so often, I don't drink bottled water. Every so often I buy bottles, big, thick Dasani bottles, so that I'll drink the water that's in them. But I don't buy the water. In my mind, I'm buying the bottles because I will reuse those bottles over and over. I'll drink the water, then I'll fill them up again, and I have 4 of them in my refrigerator. That's where I keep my water. So I have 4 bottles of water, which is my drinking water for the day, that I keep in my refrigerator. And that's my water. That's the water I keep in jars. God keeps the oceans in jars. We look around and we see these vast bodies of water that are impossible for us to control. And to God, they're just in jars on his shelf somewhere. By the word of the Lord are the heavens made, their starry host by the breath of his mouth. And he gathers the waters of the seas into jars. He puts the deep into storehouses. Let all the earth fear the Lord. Let all the people of the world revere him. For he spoke, and it came to be. He commanded, and it stood firm. God's spoken word has power. My spoken word has no power. I cannot get anything to happen by just saying it. I have cats around here somewhere. They're taking their naps right now. But I can't get my cats to listen to a thing I say. I have a cat who's running around acting crazy and tearing the house up, and I say, stop that, and she doesn't stop that. I have 7 nieces and nephews running around that I tell to do things, and they don't do things. Like, I can't get my word to do anything. My word is impotent. I cannot get my word to accomplish anything. All God has to do is speak, and something happens. He spoke to the sun and the moon and the stars, and all of life and existence into being. He spoke to the wind and the wave, and they stopped raging. He spoke to a dead man, he came out of the grave. I don't have that kind of power, and I don't think you do either. You may have more power in your spoken word than I do in mine, maybe. I hope you do, because I don't have any power in mine. But you don't have that kind of power in your spoken word. The Lord foils the plans of the nations. He thwarts the purposes of the peoples. But the plans of the Lord stand firm forever, the purposes of his heart through all generations. Blessed is the nation whose God is the Lord, the people he chose for his inheritance. From heaven, the Lord looks down and sees all, that's obviously in this case that'd be Israel. Really, ultimately though, it's anybody who swears loyalty to God. In this day and time, this covenant nation would have been Israel. But even then, a non-Israelite could become an Israelite. It was possible to convert into being an Israelite. From heaven, the Lord looks down and sees all mankind. From his dwelling place, he watches all who live on the earth. He who forms the hearts of all, who considers everything they do. No king is saved by the size of his army. No warrior escapes by his great strength. As much as we may want to believe that, as much as we may wish for that to be the case, it is not. A horse is a vain hope for deliverance. Despite all its great strength, it cannot save. But the eyes of the Lord are on those who fear him, and on those whose hope is in his unfailing love. to deliver them from death and keep them alive in famine. We wait and hope for the Lord. He is our help and our shield. In him our hearts rejoice, for we trust in his holy name. May your unfailing love rest upon us, O Lord, even as we put our hope in you. Psalm 34 of David, when he pretended to be insane before Abimelech, who drove him away, and he left. We're going to read about that in 1 Samuel. I will extol the Lord at all times. Now, we're going to have another psalm later on, by the way, that is also about this incident. And in that one, it seems to indicate that David was actually captured for a time while he was in the land of the Philistines, the city of Gath. Abimelech, in this case, being the throne title, the throne name of the king of Gath. Oh, by the way, there's a footnote here letting us know that this is an acrostic psalm. It means in the Hebrew language, each line starts with a successive letter of the Hebrew alphabet. If you'll notice, there are 22 verses in this psalm. Anytime you see a psalm that has 22 verses or a multiple of 22 verses in it, you can be pretty sure that in the Hebrew, there's 22 letters in the Hebrew alphabet, 22 consonants. And so anytime you see a psalm that has 22 verses in it, or a number that's a multiple of 22, like 44 or 66, or 176 in Psalm 119's case, you can be confident that that psalm is an acrostic psalm in the original Hebrew, with each little sentence or each line starting with the successive letter of the Hebrew alphabet. It means nothing for the English. We don't get that in the English at all. But we do have footnotes down here telling us that. As I said before, I don't know what significance that has. People have suggested that it was a memory device. I don't believe that, because people in that day and time had better memories than we do. I don't think they needed it to be a memory device. I just think that at that point in history, 3,000 years ago, the written alphabet was a new enough invention, a recent enough innovation in human history, that it was probably seen as kind of like a neat literary trick to arrange your contents by the letters of the alphabet. Today, we don't really see it that way. But then again, the alphabet has been around for 3,000 years now, so to us, like, it's not that big of a deal. So my personal guess is that at the time these poems would have been written, 3,000 years ago, the written alphabet would have been a new enough invention that arranging your psalms by the letters of the alphabet would have been a big deal, or would have still been a big deal in a way that it really isn't, honestly, to us today. But I don't know. Anyway, I will extol the Lord at all times. This is Psalm 34. Of when David pretended to be insane before Abimelech, the king of Gath. He drove him away, and he left. I will extol the Lord at all times. His praise will always be on my lips. My soul will boast in the Lord. Let the afflicted hear and rejoice. Glorify the Lord with me. Let us exalt his name together. I sought the Lord, and he answered me. So he was in trouble, he needed help, and he got it. He delivered me from all my fears. Those who look to him are radiant. Their faces are never covered with shame. This poor man called, and the Lord heard him. He saves him out of all of his troubles. The angel of the Lord encamps around those who fear him, and he delivers them. Taste and see that the Lord is good. So try him out and find out for yourself. Taste him, see him. And the Lord is good. Blessed is the man who takes refuge in him. Fear the Lord, you his saints, for those who fear him lack nothing. The lions may grow weak and hungry. Those, of course, are the enemies. Consistently throughout the Psalms, lions stand in for enemies, or enemies are compared to lions. The lions may grow weak and hungry, but those who seek the Lord lack no good thing. Come, my children, listen to me. I will teach you the fear of the Lord. He's probably not talking to his actual biological children here, as much as he's just talking to, young people or anybody who would listen to him, they'll listen to his instruction and advice. Whoever of you loves life and desires to see many good days, keep your tongue from evil and your lips from speaking lies. Turn from evil and do good. Seek peace and pursue it. There's that two-way option again. You have two ways to go. And the right choice is to pick one option and not the other, but there's that option again presented to us. Excuse me. The eyes of the Lord are on the righteous, and his ears are attentive to their cry. The face of the Lord is against those who do evil, to cut off the memory of them from the earth. So they're going to be gone, and no one's going to be around. I don't remember their names. I mean, we do have the name of the king of Gath here in the title of Abimelech. He's given another name in the 1 Samuel account, because this would probably be his throne name. I don't know who the other people were in Gath at that time that were causing David trouble. The righteous cry out, and the Lord hears them. He delivers them from all their troubles. The Lord is close to the brokenhearted and saves those who are crushed in spirit. A righteous man may have many troubles, but the Lord delivers him from them all. So that's not a guarantee you're not going to have trouble. Being righteous, being in the Lord, doing the Lord's work, seeking the Lord's favor, being in the Lord, does not mean you're not going to have troubles. It just means the Lord will deliver you from those troubles. And that deliverance may not always mean literally delivering you out of that trouble like it did in this case. As Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego told the king of Babylon in Daniel 3, even if he doesn't save us from the fire, we know that he can, and we're not going to serve your God anyway. We know he can save us from the fire. He may choose not to, though. And even if he doesn't choose to save us, we're still not going to bow down to your idol. He did save them. He did. But they acknowledge the possibility that he may choose not to. So the deliverance may not be literally delivering you from that trial. It may be helping you endure through it. It may be letting you succumb to it, possibly, and serving as an example to others. The first century Christians were an example to people around the world and throughout all time about perseverance under suffering. Many of them were not delivered from their persecutions, but their examples still ring out throughout the corridors of time as being faithful unto God even unto death. So a righteous man may have many troubles, but the Lord delivers him from them all. He protects all of his bones, not one of them will be broken. Evil will slay the wicked. The foes of the righteous will be condemned. The Lord redeems his servants. No one will be condemned who takes refuge in him. Evil will slay the wicked. In the end, evil has within it the seeds of its own destruction. In the end, evil will defeat itself. That's a principle we've seen applied throughout the Bible from beginning to end. God told the serpent in the garden that the seed of the woman was going to come and crush the serpent's head, which he did by getting the serpent to crush his own head. At the end of, we've read a lot in the prophets about the various nations fighting each other, and one nation would come and defeat another nation. And one evil, like Assyria had been evil, but then Assyria gets taken out by Babylon. Assyria certainly attacked Israel, but Assyria attacked everybody. And everybody hated Assyria, and in fact, if anyone, the people who hated Assyria the most were the Babylonians. They were the ones who probably suffered on the Assyrians the most, even more than the Israelites did. So eventually, the Babylonians came and took out Assyria. That's what the book of Nahum was about. I read about that. It's like everybody felt the cruel hand of Assyria. Nobody liked Assyria. And their cruelty eventually inspired someone else to come and destroy them. In the book of Revelation, we see the woman riding on the beast. They're both evil. You have the harlot woman, drunk with the blood of the saints, riding on this beast, which is the empire that can sheds the blood of the saints. So you have the beast that sheds the blood of the saints, the woman riding the beast who drinks that blood. They hate each other, and eventually the beast destroys the woman, and the beast gets destroyed. So evil contains within it the seeds of its own destruction. The surest way to defeat your enemy is to get him to defeat himself. And that is actually what God has done throughout history. God will do that. We read at the end of Revelation, the rider on the white horse coming out of the armies of heaven to defeat the enemies. But that's after they pretty much already defeated themselves. Psalm 35 of David. Contend, O Lord, with those who contend with me. Fight against those who fight against me. Take up shield and buckler. Arise and come to my aid. Brandish spear and javelin against those who pursue me. Say to my soul, I am your salvation. May those who seek my life be disgraced and put to shame. May those who plot my ruin be turned back in dismay. May they be like chaff before the wind, with the angel of the Lord driving them away. May their path be dark and slippery, with the angel of the Lord pursuing them. Again, David is not taking out his vengeance on his enemies himself. He is appealing to the Lord to do that. He is appealing to the Lord as a righteous judge to render a verdict in his favor and against his enemies and take action against his enemies. He is not taking this action himself. He is not seeking to avenge, even if he could, even if he had the power to do that, he's not doing it. He's appealing to God to do that for him. Since they hid their net from me without cause, meaning they laid traps for him without cause, and without cause dug a pit for me, may ruin overtake them by surprise. So may what they wanted to happen to me happen to them instead. They dug traps for me. They set nets for me. Let them be caught in traps and snares instead. May ruin overtake them by surprise. May the net they hid entangle them. May they fall into the pit to their ruin. Then my soul will rejoice in the Lord and delight in his salvation. My whole being will exclaim, Who is like you, O Lord? You rescue the poor from those too strong for them, the poor and needy from those who rob them. Ruthless witnesses come forward. They question me on things I know nothing about. So they're trying to find some reason to accuse him of something. They repay me evil for good and leave my soul forlorn. Yet when they were ill, I put on sackcloth and humbled myself with fasting. So I didn't treat them the way they're treating me. When they were in distress, when they were in dire straits, when they were ill or sick or poor or whatever, I helped them. I prayed for them. I mourned for them. They're not treating me the same way I treated them. They're repaying evil for good. When my prayers returned to me unanswered, I went about mourning as though for my friend or brother. I bowed my head in grief as though weeping for my mother. So even when his prayers weren't answered on their behalf, and they continued to have whatever trouble they were having, he wept. He was genuinely disturbed in his own soul about their distress. But when I stumbled, they gathered in glee. Attackers gathered against me when I was unaware. They slandered me without ceasing. Like the ungodly, they maliciously mocked. They gnashed their teeth at me. That's a sign of strong contempt and social shaming. O Lord, how long will you look on? Rescue my life from their ravages, my precious life from these lions. I will give you thanks in the great assembly. Among throngs of people I will praise you. Let not those gloat over me who are my enemies without cause. Let not those who hate me without reason maliciously wink the eyes. This is an example of the psalmist being innocent of whatever charge these enemies are laying against him. Sometimes he's not. We saw a previous psalm, Psalm 32, about him praising God for his forgiveness of his own actual sin. But there are a number of psalms in which the psalmist is declaring his innocence, not in the sense that he's sinless, but in the sense that whatever his enemies are accusing him of, he didn't do it. Like he's not guilty of whatever charge he's being accused of. And this is one of those kinds of psalms. They do not speak peaceably, but they devise false accusations against those who live quietly in the land. They gape at me and say, Aha! Aha! With our eyes we have seen it. So we caught you doing something, dude. We're gonna tell on you. We're gonna make everyone know what we saw you do, even if we're just making stuff up. Oh Lord, you have seen this. Be not silent. Do not be far from me, O Lord. Awake and rise to my defense. Contend for me, my God and Lord. Vindicate me in your righteousness, O Lord my God. Do not let them gloat over me. Do not let them think, aha! Just what we wanted. Or say, we have swallowed him up. Don't let them do that, God. Don't give them the victory. Don't let them triumph. May all who gloat over my distress be put to shame and confusion. May all who exalt themselves over me be clothed with shame and disgrace. May those who delight in my vindication shout for joy and gladness. May they always say, the Lord be exalted, who delights in the well-being of his servant. My tongue will speak of your righteousness and of your praises all day long.